Finally have my Launchbox BigBox set up like I like it, so I figured I'd give it a share. The guys over at Launchbox have created a killer piece of software, and basically I just learned how to use it. It's taken a while, but I think I've got it to a point where it's a pretty nice setup. So maybe this will inspire some other people to get their setup. So this is a arcade joystick I've got set up. I'm using for mainly my arcade games, and I've got a Xbox for the console games. I need to get another one for 2 players. I've got a place set up for it. Another thing I recently set up was this Visual Pinball X, which I ended up having to install a couple buttons on the sides here for nudging, and also got the buttons programmed to work on the right side there. So, a little showcase of the Pinball X. This worked out well. A lot of people use a different front end for pinball, but I wanted to keep everything within this same setup, big box. So this is what I came up with. Like I said, I ended up installing some extra buttons. I just daisy chained them off of this controller here. So it's basically that controller, left, right, up, back for the nudge. I just didn't have any more buttons on my controller, so I had to just ghost a few of them. But as you can see, Launchbox, BigBox does a good job of launching these. You just have to get it set up correctly. There's a lot of helpful people on the forums that pointed me in the right direction to get this how I want it. But it runs through a similar version like the arcade MAME. Start. You see the nudges are set up for both sides. And I've got this as a escape, those two together. And then I've got back and accept. So you can see as I hit back, it goes back to the main menu here where I can go up and down. This is the colorful theme, by the way. This is a new theme that just came out. And as you can see, it's catered toward more of the arcade or the console games. So it's got a console icon there. I think it's still in beta, so maybe he'll tweak this stuff to be a little bit more friendly. Not friendly, but just show like an arcade stick there instead. And maybe, you know, when with pinball, he might show like a pinball icon there instead. But it's plenty fine for what I'm doing. I hate that I even showed that. It's kind of nitpicky. But this is a really nice interface he's created with this theme. And, you know, a lot of people have the logos on the side here, but I tend to like the text. It's a little bit easier to read, and it allows me to get to a vertical version of the ABC like column here and get to my favorites really quickly. While the logos, it puts the vertical ABC on the bottom, which I don't think is as intuitive. So I tend to stick with this text. But you can make these logos if you want. So you scroll through the logos like Hyperspin. If you hit back one more time, it gets you to the options here. Tons of options where you can set up all kinds of things. I'm not going to get into it because that's a video in itself. In television, I'm still trying to get this. It looks like most of the games work, but a few of the games I like aren't working, like Dragonfire, so I need to tweak that a little bit. Anything with a RetroArch does really well. Well, I take that back. The Intellivision is a RetroArch core, and it's seems to be having issues with some games. But N64, all the Nintendo games work really well. I'll do another video of piecing just a run through of the interface, but mainly I just wanted to show you like a nice little thing you can do with a fridge and make it an arcade height. It works really well for like standing up or using a stool. I'm really excited how this came out. It's much better than I thought it ever would have been, and I appreciate all the software and all the help that the community's given me over at the Launchbox site. Thanks a lot, guys.